Konnichiwa minasan, I'm Matayu and this is Manga You May Have Missed. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. Instead of reviewing a manga and discussing its anime adaptation, we're going to look at an anime and review its manga adaptation. As such, today we dive into FLCL, pronounced as Fooly Cooly. Fooly Cooly is a 6-episode OVA produced by the Fooly Cooly Production Committee, which includes Gainax, Production IG, and Star Child Records. The series was written by Yoji Enokido and was directed by Kazuya Tsurumaki. It aired in Japan from April 2000 to March 2001. It was originally licensed for English translation and released by Sync Point until 2006, but was picked up and re-released by Funimation in 2010. It is available to watch on Netflix, Hulu, iTunes, and Funimation's website and YouTube channel. The series centers around a boy named Naoto Nandaba, a 12-year-old 6th grader. He lives with his father, the editor of a self-published magazine, and his grandfather, a retired baker. His older brother Tasaku, who Naoto idolizes, has recently left to play baseball in the United States. Naoto hangs out with his brother's ex-girlfriend, Mamimi Samejima, who refers to him, and anything else she finds cute, as Takun. They live in the fictional city of Mabase, where a giant company called Medical Mechanica has recently built a giant, Monopoly-inspired factory. Naoto's life changes forever when he meets a woman calling herself Haruka Haruhara. Because of her, Naoto must learn how to fight with an electric guitar against robots that grow to various portions of people's anatomy. If you think this sounds weird, go watch it. You have no idea. In comparison to the anime, the manga is a lot darker. It retains all the key elements of the story, but gives a more serious take on the events. It cut a decent amount of the absurdist comedy and changes the importance of some of the characters. The ultimate ending is also different. No, I'm not explaining how. The manga was adapted by Hajime Ueda. It was originally published as 2 tankobon and released by Tokyopop, but was re-released as 1 Nimbus volume by Dark Horse. The manga begins with Naoto and Mamimi together under a bridge, Mamimi wondering why Naoto isn't doing his homework, at home. Because doing homework at home is lame. Doing under a bridge is not lame. Our title page shows us Mamimi lying on a disinterested Naoto. Naoto begins to narrate, telling us about the city of Mabase. He declares it to be flat and boring. He points out the Medical Mechanica factory and says you can see it from anywhere in town, and that it spews white smoke into the sky at the same time every day. It covers the whole town. Naoto interrupts his own musings as Mamimi nestles herself against his back. He says they shouldn't be doing things like that. Mamimi says that if she doesn't do things like that, she'll overflow. Naoto asks what that means, so she simply replies, something will happen. Naoto gets up and walks away, complaining that she smells like smoke. Mamimi says that she doesn't. Naoto asks her if her brother has mailed her yet. Mamimi ignores him, becoming engrossed in a handheld game. Naoto tells the reader about the existence of his older brother as a figure on a motorized Vespa scooter approaches them. Mamimi notes its approach, and Naoto notices the writer saying something. He tries to make out the words, and is bludgeoned in the face by the writer as he draws up to them. Naoto goes flying as Mamimi looks on in shock. As Naoto continues his flight, Mamimi reaches into her bag and pulls out a camera. She uses it to document the carnage. The Vespa Woman reels around for another charge, electric bass guitar at the ready. Yeah, she uses the guitar as a weapon. A left-handed Rickenbacker 4001 to be exact, one that runs on gasoline. Shut up. Mamimi looks up at the Vespa Woman, who gives her a sadistic smile. Nonplussed, Mamimi moves to drag Naoto away from the attacker. The woman prepares to charge again, and promptly slips and falls down the embankment. This allows Mamimi time to drag Naoto into the city. Still mostly unconscious, Naoto remembers a previous conversation he'd had with some classmates. They told him about a woman that rides a Vespa scooter who attacks people at night. Her weapon is reportedly a guitar, and she attacks bad, dishonest kids. At that point, the class representative scolded them for being in the wrong seats. Mamimi has dragged Naoto to a vending machine. She retrieves a can of soda and remarks on the Vespa Woman's looks and age to Naoto's annoyance. She gives Naoto the can, irritating him further. Still to himself, Naoto tries to explain something to Mamimi. His brother has sent him a letter from America. Naoto's inner monologue is interrupted as a fixture flies off the wall. In its place is the head of the Vespa Woman. She then proceeds to smash through the wall, Kool-Aid Man style. The Vespa Woman tries to hit Naoto with a guitar again, but Mamimi jumps on top of him to save him. She pleads with the woman to spare him. This goes over about as well as you'd expect. Mamimi says that Naoto is a decent guy and doesn't deserve the bludgeoning. If that's true, the woman asks, then why is Naoto hiding under Mamimi's skirt? Mamimi says that this is more proof. Naoto is pretending not to see her panties. The woman asks if this might be because he's gay. This apparently never occurred to Mamimi before. She then panics, thinking all her flirting with Naoto has gone to waste. The woman wonders if the two are even old enough for that sort of stuff, then pounces on Naoto when Mamimi's guard drops. Unfortunately, it appears Naoto is already dead. The woman freaks out, having never accidentally murdered a child before. She eventually decides that there's no choice. They'll have to bury him. This ends Chapter 1. Naoto wakes up in bed. He notices a smell and wonders about the bandage on his head. He goes downstairs to find his dad reading the paper, his grandfather doing exercises, and a robot making rice balls. This is decidedly out of the ordinary. He demands an explanation from Dad, who tells him that he decided to hire a housekeeper. Naoto initially assumes he means the robot, but he's actually referring to an actual maid, the 19-year-old Haruka Haruhara. Haruka rushes Naoto off to his morning sports thing before Naoto recognizes her. She chuckles as she kicks him out of the house. Naoto wonders if he's still dreaming as he goes to school and has the same conversation about the Vespa Woman. Naoto feels like this is all very familiar. He can smell a smell that reminds him of tending the school's gardens. His friends point out to him that Mamimi has come to pick him up. The class rep, named Ninamori, asks who Mamimi is. The friend says she's Naoto's girl, or rather his brother's ex. This displeases Ninamori. Naoto and Mamimi return to the bridge where this all started and begin to have the same conversation. At that point, Naoto finally realizes something. The Vespa Woman came out of nowhere and attacked him. Mamimi simply smiles and tells him to wake up. Naoto then recognizes the strange smell as that of fresh soil. It would appear that he's been buried. Just kidding. We return to where the Vespa Woman is lamenting her accidental child slaughter. Mamimi points out that he's still breathing, and is then shocked by the bulge that Naoto grows. This ends Chapter 2, Part A. The bulge, of course, has grown from Naoto's forehead. What'd you think it was? Mamimi tries touching it. The Vespa Woman, which I'm sure you've all realized is Haruka by now, says that not wait till the wedding night is dirty. Mamimi asks what it is, and Haruka says it's completely normal for a guy. Mamimi says they didn't show that in the health class video she was shown, and Haruka is impressed. Her class only had slides. Naoto, meanwhile, is just waking up. He sees Mamimi and Haruka leaning over him. What he's been trying to tell Mamimi is that his brother has a new girl in America. As he's thinking this, Mamimi is slowly getting closer to him. She then starts doing something out of Naoto's line of sight. But any inappropriate contact is ignored as Naoto sprouts a giant robot hand from his head. As the hand drags Naoto away, Haruka pulls off her helmet. She follows the hand down an alleyway past a stunned woman who decides to leave the strange occurrence alone. A pulse goes through Naoto's body. Another, complete robot grows out of Naoto's head, this one fighting the arm. Haruka pulls out a recording device and records the arrival of the robots. Following the fight, she says that the serial numbers cannot be identified. She also compares the fight to parents doing their taxes. And it does look like some accounting is going on for a bit. Fortunately for the censors, the full-body robot, which is also the rice ball-making robot from Naoto's hallucination, tosses the arm away from itself and destroys it, severing the connection to Naoto's head. The hand is tossed far away from Naoto and comes to rest in a junk pile. Loose pieces from the hand fall over Mamimi, who wakes up. Her pocket game, called Firestarter, is shown. Mamimi regards the victorious robot as we are given a description of her game, in which the player is an arsonist in the service of a black angel named Kanti. The point is to restrict the growth of a town that will devour the world. The robot, which henceforth is named Kanti after the angel, fondly regards Mamimi for a second before Haruka smashes the back of its head in with her guitar. Haruka knows that the bump of Naoto's forehead is gone. She sits amongst the unconscious bodies of the boy, girl, and robot and says that the story goes on. Or, in the Dark Horse translation, that this isn't over. The end. This is a good manga. Even so, I would still advise you to watch the anime. I would even go so far as to recommend the English dub over the Japanese. There are very few cases in which I would do that. Now, I know what you're thinking. What in the 9 circles of hell does Fooly Cooly mean? Well, I'll let the anime explain that.
Now, dinner.
It's you, the Vespa Woman!
Why are you yelling?
Hurry up and sit down.
Hi.
I just hired her to work for us. Her name's Haruka.
Haruko, pleasure.
I got run over, you know. Smashed.
By her Vespa? It should have killed him.
But instead, we got you a live-in housekeeper out of it, didn't we?
Are you feeling okay, Grandpa?
I mean, you got a housekeeper? A housekeeper?
Was watching Taro-kun who was making out with a high school girl.
Fondling her yum-yums?
I told you, I'm not Taro!
Fondling her cupcakes?
Ah!
Who's this slut you're fooling around with? Huh? Huh?
Mamimi, we were down at the river.
Really, Mamimi?
I bet she does it like a weasel. She's cursed, I tell you.
Ah, your brother is away, so she's sinking her fangs into you now, Don. Fondling around, fooling around, fooly-cooly! What's fooly-cooly?
How should I know? I'm still in grade school. You think I'm that crazy?
Ha-ha! Ha-ha-ha! That's what it is. Naoto's Gundam hammer.
Huh?
It's that Tomino-esque thing, saying it's Gundam, but basically it's giant robot anime, right?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Nao's just like me, so he must be doing it. I know he's doing it. Doing it, fooly-cooly!
I see. Pretty impressive, little bro.
So what do you think, Haruko-san?
What are ya?
Oh, cooly, like that?
Kool-Aid?
Not like curry powder aphrodisiac leaked off my desk. It's this kind of cooly new modality.
Noodle?
I mean like MTV!
Empty?
Oh, former assistant editor-in-chief. I didn't know you had such a lovely young wife. Cooly! Yeah, it's kind of a cooly dream thing.
Yeah, cooly is you do it like this with your hands, see?
All right. I'm already in that kind of relationship with Takun here.
Relationship? How do you mean?
Mouth to mouth.
Mao?
I told you to shut up about that!
the same house. You two are already fully I see.
Who cares if it's fully or coolie?
But you're still thinking about doing it tonight, aren't you?
Stop acting like a kid!
With that kind of perverted coolie kind of dream, you must be hiding it underneath this Band-Aid, aren't you?
I'm not hiding anything!
Band-Aid.
But that doesn't explain anything. Good night, everybody.
Kokoro no koe de 散々中の夜